Summer is a soft bleach. Anything to make you think about me. Let's blame it on the chlorine when I leave. Shimmering, my feet are in, colder than blue water. Evergreen, waiting me, don't wanna leave. I gotta 30 seconds to savor. See me in your eyes. Serenity, still lost inside a demo MP3, burn hot on a CD. IBP, silver lines, you digitize, flash of all exposure. Think of me, JPG, hear it in your folder. Every moment savor. See me in your eyes. You
Yo, what the fuck is happening, party people? It is the boy, the Trough in the fucking house. How the fuck are we doing? First thing you should notice is that my mic should sound a lot better now because I've also got a new laptop I'm using as well. Got one of these bad boys, mate. Got a fucking DJI mic, mate. These things cost off. These things are not fucking cheap. So hopefully, they should be pretty good. The camera quality should be higher as well now because of the webcam on there as well. But I'm also going to buy another webcam. I've also got another proper webcam coming soon. Yo, what's up, Doug? Bringing with the savior of my attention span. Hell yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the little intro video for the streaming soon thing. I've got a text message from Otterem on WhatsApp saying, can you see the comments? No, I still can't see your comments. I don't know what it is, but there's something that I can see you spamming the party cheer emoji, but I cannot see the comments, unfortunately. Anyway, we're gonna start off with a drink, as we always do. We're gonna do a big wine glass of vodka for Otterem and for Darkbringer. We know we're talking about big wine glass of vodka. Let's go. Oh yeah, baby. That's the well a touch more. All right, there we go. There we go. Nice big wine glass of vodka to get us off. I'm actually already fucking drunk, so this could be a hectic fucking stream. Let me tell you. But hopefully, yeah, the mic should be much better quality now. Should be easier in that way as well. But anyway, you know how we fucking roll. Cheers, people. I can't hit my protein. Wine glass of vodka. Bop! And for the Viper Man as well. Viper, Otterem, Duckbringer. Everybody watching right now, fucking let's go. I can't hit my protein. Large wine glass of vodka. Bop! Thank you, Stream Elements bot, for that lovely message, that touching message. Darkbringer says, I can't touch liquor anymore, but I might have a beer. Woohoo! Now we're talking. Right, anyway, first bit of drama we're going to get into is this shit with the BECKHAMS. Now, I don't know too much about it. All I know is that there was a wedding of some description, and, well, it didn't go very well from the sounds of it, to be honest. It sounds like it went a bit bad. We'll let these lovely people on This Morning explain the situation. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it went particularly great. I just want to adjust the... You draw all your friends as swamp creatures, and you feel like there is no avoiding drawing me as a boar. Hey, that sounds cool. That does genuinely sound cool. Feel free to do that. That would be great. Thank you. Right, let's get into this. Tell me if there's any audio issues because I'm on a laptop and everything, brand new thing, so it might not work. Let me know if there's any problems.
We're going to start where everyone's been starting this morning and yesterday evening with Brooklyn Beckham. Last night he launched a quite extraordinary attack on his parents, Victoria and David.
In a series of Instagram posts, he accuses them of planting lies about him and wife Nicola in the press, as well as trying to ruin their relationship, humiliating them at their wedding, and even being the cause of Brooklyn's crippling anxiety.
Well, joining us to discuss these accusations is former magazine editor Lucy Cave. Of course, has interviewed Victoria Beckham multiple times over the years and written about the family, of course, for decades.
She's here alongside talent management expert Jonathan Shalit, who has worked with celebrities such as Elton John, Cher...
Oh. Will Turner, subscribe to the channel. Will, thank you very much. That is a shot of vodka for Will. Will, big love for subscribing. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciated, my man. We'll have a shot. We'll have a nice shot of vodka for Will. See? Look at me go, people. I've got loads of technology now, mate. I'm fucking technology to the fucking gills now.
And Charlotte Church. And we're also joined by Nick Ferrari. Good morning, Nick, to you. Good morning to all of you. This was really quite shocking.
The burnt toast, 1, 2, 3, 4 says www. Hell yeah.
When you read the statement.
It was, and not many of us got any sleep last night, I have to say. I mean, it was something really unprecedented, and there were some really key, interesting points from his statement. I mean, in literally 6 Instagram posts, he's kind of taken on years of speculation. So firstly, he talks about, he'd been silent for years, and in an effort to keep things private, but he said, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, and that is pretty damning. He says he doesn't want to reconcile with his family.
I mean, no shit. They're fucking celebrities. They feed off fucking getting in the papers and magazines and stuff. I'm not really surprised they've gone to the press, to be honest. Oh, I got the giggles. Fucking hell. Ugh, but yeah, I'm not really surprised they've gone to the press. And for him to come out and say that as well is a bit laughable, given how much of an attention seeker he can be.
Family, which is kind of saying this is it. He talks about the dance, which we will come on to, and I think a lot of people got quite obsessed with that, saying my mum hijacked the first dance with my wife. He said the narrative around his wife
video's gone blurry, but it's not me.
behaviour is
It's the
wrong,
video
so he wanted to stand up for his wife, and then obviously he talks about his mental health.
Can they not get a copyright or something?
After bombshell.
Fucking hell.
Why do you think he's doing this so publicly instead of privately? Because he's asking for more privacy, but then he's putting that out.
Exactly. I'm going to get in trouble for this. If Salome comes in, she's going to lose her mind at me for saying this, but it's the exact same thing with Harry and Meghan Markle. Oh, we want privacy. Yet they're constantly suing newspapers, bitching in the newspapers, yada, yada, yada. It's like, how can you go, we want our privacy, we want to be left alone, when you keep running to the press? These two things are contradictory, my friends.
Out there too.
I mean, I think the fact that he's doing it is very considered. He's had a lot of, there's been a lot of help in terms of putting that post together. So he's clearly thought about it for a long time. And I think, yeah, it does seem like it's kind of going against itself if you're posting something on Instagram.
Also, I love how Nick Ferrari's just sat there on a video call in the background, contributing nothing. I'll be honest with you, what does Nick Ferrari have to do with any of this? I'll be honest with you. Oh, yeah, the breathing out emoji. Yeah, I know, hot take. But the thing is, the Nick Ferrari just sat there. He's a political commentator for LBC. Why is he getting involved in showbiz drama like this?
Instagram, but he obviously felt like he had to speak out now because, there was so much speculation. There was an article in the Daily Mail last week about him, and I think he just obviously had enough.
Jonathan, you've managed very high-profile clients over the years. Some have been through very public sort of moments as well, which are traumatic to navigate. It feels like this is sort of spontaneous combustion, but from your perspective, do you believe this is much more strategic than that?
Well, I don't think it's spontaneous. It might look spontaneous. I'm sure that...
It feels like that, doesn't it? It's this outpouring of all sorts of things that have been bothering him and his wife.
I suspect him and his advisors, as in Brooklyn, his advisors, have been making this statement and changing and editing it, and then over the weekend doing the final version and putting it out on a Monday, following a weekend of reflection. So it might look spontaneous, but I suspect looking at that family, there are many, many advisors around them.
So if that is the...
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, even the most, you think, oh, it's just, they're just a bunch of tabloid celebrities, how much complicated can it be? No, every single drama, every single celebrity like this will have people to advise them over the most mundane things. They will have PR people up the wazoo talking about every single thing they do, to them how to respond. Every single statement. Yes, Otter M with the hello. Woo! Let's have a drink for the Otter M. I can see your messages now. Hello, sis. How's it going? But yeah, as I say, they'll definitely have a lot of PR people all around them.
The case, do you think the Beckhams were expecting it as well?
I can't speak for them, but it doesn't appear so. It seems so devastating that I suspect they weren't expecting it. I mean, they've got a son who's got his own world and his own team around him, and he's got his own agenda and reasons for doing things.
Nick, I wonder what the reaction from your listeners was this morning, because this has been dominating all of the news programmes since it broke last night.
Yeah, I took a bit of a chance, to be honest with you, Ben, because obviously most of what we're dealing with is Donald Trump and Greenland or Keir Starmer and tariffs.
Exactly. Why... Nick Ferrari is a political commentator. Why would you bring him in? Yeah, you made a new account. Yeah, I told you, it must have been an account issue. There must be something wrong with your previous account because the messages weren't showing. But I'm glad to see you here now. Big little sis, I'm glad to see you here. Wagwan dogs, hell yeah. Let's have a shot for Otter M. Shot for Otter M. Booyakasha.
And we thought we'd put a toe in the water, and we got a lot of calls. There's a lot of listener interest, and I'm sure viewer interest. But for me, it's a tale as old as time. It's almost Shakespearean, because we have an enormous power struggle on here, and Jonathan can probably speak to this, because you have David Beckham and Brand Beckham, which is estimated, the Sunday Times rich list, to be around about £500 million. And David Beckham, good luck to him, has said he is determined to be the first billionaire sportsman from the United Kingdom, and everything indicates he's going that way. And now we go to Nicola.
That is true. There's quite literally not a single other. I think it would be impossible for any other sportsman to be as wealthy as David Beckham. There's no chance of it happening. Which is interesting, because he was a good player, but his career was decent. Wasn't the greatest. Never won anything internationally. You know.
The Peltz family, the Peltz family over in the United States. Well, the business is worth $4.5 billion. Nicola's dad is meant to be worth somewhere in the region of $1.5 billion. So I put it to you, again, people that Jonathan has worked with, these people are used to getting their own way. So if they want a son or a daughter to be part of their family and not seem so much of the other family, or whatever it might be, or attend this birthday or not attend that birthday, or wear this dress or not wear that, these people get their own way. This is why they are so successful in business. But as everybody watching this now, and we've all, sadly, everyone in this panel, all of us, we've all had issues in our families. It's a fact of life. You cannot run families in the same way with the discipline you can a business. So you cannot instruct your son or your daughter-in-law to take certain action as you can your chief financial officer. And I think that's what...
Wow. Not technically, but I don't know. Usually, with large, powerful families, if the matriarch or the patriarch of the family says, "Wind your fucking neck in, son," usually they'll obey. But I guess they feel this is such a contentious issue that they don't care. They're going against the grain, which could see them in a bit of hot water, to be honest. Because I don't think he has, Brooklyn Beckham. I don't think he has enough of a following or a career, on his own. The only reason he's famous, and that only meddlingly, really, is just because of the fact that he is David Beckham's son. So I don't know. I think he's played a risky game here. He's definitely played a risky game here.
Really come to the point here.
Lucy, Nick just mentioned there about the dresses. And that was one point that he really did bring up about the wedding. And there seems to be conflicting opinions here and different reports. There was a report in Vogue that it had taken a year to go and buy the Valentino dress and to go to the fittings and all that kind of thing. And then Brooklyn said at the 11th hour,
his mum let him
down. There seems to be lots of conflicting opinions.
Different sort of narratives going on here, and actually it's just worth reminding ourselves that I guess Vogue officially covered the wedding, so they were there. They interviewed Nicola. They talked to her, like you said. She said it was a no-brainer to wear a Valentino gown.
Sir M says they're going against the grain towards the billionaire wife's family. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like it's a ballsy move, I guess. I think it could potentially backfire in terms of them having their own career, because I personally think that there's going to be a lot more loyalty towards Posh Spice and David Beckham than there is towards Brooklyn Beckham. Going to be honest on that one. Let's be real.
So, and she did say to Variety that she was going to originally wear the Victoria Beckham dress, but a few months down the line, the Atelier couldn't do it. And so that feels like she was okay with that, but now the way he's talking about it, she was really upset. And, I mean, he clearly is very impassioned about it, so he obviously, that's the narrative that he believes. But it's strange, and there's a lot of conflicts going on when you look at the Vogue article, particularly when they talk about the dance and other elements of the wedding.
Which is a very strange kind of comment to make about the dance and his mum.
This is what he said. My mum hijacked my first dance with my wife in front of our 500 wedding guests. Mark Anthony, who was the singer at the time, called me to the stage, where in the schedule it was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mum was waiting to dance with me. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never...
That is a yikes. That is a big yikes. It has to be said. That is a big yikes. I can't see what would compel someone to dance inappropriately with their own son at their wedding. But at the same time, however, I guess she should have known that obviously the first dance is going to be the wife. It's crazy that it wasn't. You know, the first dance is always with the wife, not with the mum. But I don't know. That no spoilers, but there may be more to that.
I felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life.
I know, and that's it. I mean, that...
And apparently, Oscar M says, apparently Posh Spice's work is in the charts. Well, hey, with everything going on, you know, even if they just play a song for 30 seconds as a context clip when they're talking about it on BBC One Radio Extra or whatever, I can see it happening, yeah, 100%.
That makes it sound really shocking. And the thing about that statement as well, obviously we know the internet's gone wild for this and everyone's like, on me? What does that mean? I mean, David Baddiel particularly was talking about that. But again, it still seems conflicting because when Vogue wrote about it, they said they'd already had their first dance to Can't Help Falling in Love. Then there'd been a father-daughter dance to Wind Beneath My Wings. And then Mark Anthony came on at 11 p.m. And it was always sort of planned that way. So...
Oh, drama. Conflicting stories, but I guess that's always going to be the case with these sort of celebrity scandals.
Yeah.
If there's a video of this video needs to be released. Big time.
As well, which they've done.
Yeah, so they renewed their vows, and that was kind of very public that David and Victoria were not invited to that. They were noticeably absent, but they said they wanted to do it in private because they felt that this had all been sort of controlled and taken them away from what they wanted to do. You've
been an entertainment reporter for as long as we've known each other.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah.
And, of course, interviewed lots of these people. And we're sitting here trying to read what Brooklyn Beckham is saying, look at what Vogue is saying, and then trying to understand the circumstances. Where does the truth lie?
I mean, I think... what I feel for Brooklyn is that he's sort of become Brand Beckham before Brand Beckham was even a thing, before we even had a language for what that was. If you look at how you compare him to the rest of the siblings, it's really interesting. And you look back at the relationship of Posh and Brett.
I'm just going to get some.
He was in the press all the time. They were courting the press then. They had pictures of him. There was pictures of him when they had him in the hospital. And so he's lived a very different life as part of that circus. I think as soon as she had Romeo, that's when it was a bit more guarded. And, you know, I remember pictures.
Yeah, I can definitely feel for someone that's had to live the whole life in the spotlight. That's got to be very tough. That's definitely got to change your whole mindset. But I don't know. I just feel like this is just... I don't feel like this is the way to do things. I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, this approach.
Pictures of Romeo were going for like £95,000. Wow. That's ridiculous. But that was, the machine had sort of started to operate then. I think he was born in a time when they were navigating it themselves as well, because they were quite young, but they were sort of doing everything in the public eye.
Jonathan, how do you think the Beckhams themselves should now respond to this statement? Because to me as well, there's two very different, massive PR machines currently working. You know it is, because, you know, as Nick says, Nicola comes from a billionaire family. Then over this side, we've got to protect Brand Beckham as well. How do you think they should respond? What should be the response here?
Well, the world's looking at this, and we're all talking about it, but as Ben just reminded us, all families have issues.
Yeah.
And the one thing I would say, and I can speak as a parent, is my grandma would say, don't air your dirty linen in public.
Exactly. I feel like, exactly, airing your dirty laundry, I feel like it's just the wrong approach to go about it. You know, it's got his name in the papers and it's got everyone talking about them, but is it in a way you want it to be? You know, again, I can't see how there could be any positives to come to the situation, handling it this way.
And I think that applies to famous people or non-famous people. You're not going to solve a spat with your children and vice versa by playing it out for the world. The maturity of David and Victoria, and seeing David in Davos this morning at the big conference, business as usual, I suspect they won't respond publicly. I'd be surprised. And I suspect if they're being advised, I'd hope their advisors are saying don't respond. Because the only way this is going to be solved is allowing time, not playing to the PR. Because they go into a PR statement, the other side will counter. It'll just give more oxygen to the story. So
yeah, it'll just end up snowballing. There'll be more. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Again, I think that David Beckham is way too media savvy to get himself embroiled in this. You know, the first rule of any scandal is basically if you shut up about it and keep your head down and don't address it, 9 times out of 10, you'll come out a lot stronger than if you start to try and counter it or argue with it. Usually that's what leads to people having problems with these sort of situations.
That's not going to help them at all. It needs time. Clearly, the emotions are high. It's not going to be solved overnight, which means as loving parents, it's going to be very distressing for them because they're going to be estranged from their son for some time. But if they play the long game, which I'm sure they will, time will heal and eventually they'll come back and eventually they'll be grandparents. And I'm sure it'll get mended, but it'll get mended quicker if they say nothing, but I'm sure they will say nothing.
What we're hearing, though...
I'm not so sure of that part, though. One thing I will say is that if they don't address it at all publicly, that's one thing. But there's a chance if they don't address it privately either, the situation will just not change at all. But I'd be very surprised if they weren't having words about it privately. I'd be unbelievably surprised. I don't think that they're that sort of people.
Nick, is that Brooklyn has been very public about not wanting to reconcile with his family. He's got no interest in finding a way back. Much as parents, we would all think, you know, and you rightly pointed this out, everybody's family goes through moments like this and reconciliation is hugely important. But he's pretty adamant about that and really clear.
One of the lines that jumped out at me from his statement was last night is that he said he came over his dad's birthday and they were trying to make time to get together so they could go and see Dad. He and Nicola were staying and they had no contact in the hotel room whatsoever. Now, no one knows, I want to stress, no one knows if that is true, whether that is the case or that is how Brooklyn sees it. But that to me was pretty devastating because your dad's celebrating a milestone and everything else, and either Dad doesn't find time, son doesn't find time. So to the point of how we get through this, my other point is I feel so sorry for their grandchildren. I don't know how many their grandparents, I'm sorry. I don't know how many grandparents Nicola has, but I know that Brooklyn has grandparents. And I read that they had a really, really close relationship with Brooklyn when he was a little boy. Well, it is no fault of anyone, by the way. It is but it's certainly no fault of the grandparents who now can't even see Brooklyn, and hopefully they are still with us, can't even see Nicola.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, that's kind of their decision, though, surely. You know, it's entirely up to Brooklyn and his wife whether they want to have a relationship with the grandparents or not. I don't understand why they go, well, it's not their fault. Well, fine, it's not their fault. But if there's something that does upset them, but they don't want to have a relationship with them, that's up to them.
So, yes, as Jonathan says, grandchildren will hopefully one day come along for David and Victoria, but there are grandparents now grieving because they've effectively lost contact with a living grandchild, and it is no fault and no way can they rectify it.
Lucy, where do you see it moving forward from here? Because I was actually chatting to Kathleen in the Green Room,
psychotherapist who's going to come in and do our phone later.
And what she was saying was it looks as though he's clearly been very hurt by something and perhaps mediation might be the way forward for them to start talking.
Yeah, and it might be that this sort of real public outcry actually means that they lean into him even more. But like Nick said, who knows what's really going on behind closed doors? But he's clearly hurting. He's clearly, you know, felt the need to make such a public statement, which is just unheard of, isn't it, really? Particularly for a family so famous as them. And, you know, they, like you said, they're always silent about everything, and there's been, you know, numerous things that have come up. Lots of speculation that's come up across the years. So he will know that this is going to sort of hit them hard. But I think by doing this, it just means the whole world is watching even more. There's going to be more written about them. People are obsessed, and like Nick said.
Okay, I've just got a picture here from Ossa M. Is this picture of? Is that? I guess that's the wife. I guess. I don't know. Dancing inappropriately. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I'll see if I can get that picture on the screen in a moment, but I think that's a bit of a stretch, call that inappropriate dancing.
Anyone who's not even into showbiz or entertainment today, they are.
Yeah.
And Nick made a good comment. Billionaires like to be in control. That's what Nick said, and that's true.
It's reminiscent, though, Jonathan, isn't it, of what we saw with Prince Harry and his family just a few years ago. You know, documentaries.
Oh, it's a fake photo.
And
why are you all right, don't send me, please, chat, don't send me fake or AI photos, okay? I literally almost pulled up WhatsApp on the computer to address that. Don't do that, please.
All of a sudden, hopefully, we're sort of on the verge of maybe seeing some reconciliation. And again, to Nick's point, him not seeing his grandchildren as well. And there seems to be some very similar parallels, doesn't there?
Well, you get the impression on Harry's side that maturity has come in, and he's not talking publicly anymore. And the King, of course, has never talked publicly. So you get the impression that Harry's grown up and seems to be becoming more responsible. And you hope, for the sake of the father, who we know hasn't been well, there can be that proper reconciliation. And I'm sure, I think there will be. I think it's inevitable there will be. But I think going back to the Beckhams, absolutely, Brooklyn could not choose to be the family he was born into. But because of the family he was born into, he's got this privileged life. He wouldn't have even met his wife without being a Beckham. And so he criticises the world he came from, but that world he came from has given him the life he's got. I also think the brand Beckham, and this goes back to Nick's show with everyone wanting to talk about it, is so powerful, and they're such national treasures, the Beckhams, that everyone wants to talk about them. Everyone feels they're part of the Beckhams journey, because obviously going back to when David got us into the World Cup one year and Victoria was the biggest group in the world, and that magically came together and on their thrones at their wedding, and we've all lived their lives with them. We all feel we know them, or we don't. And I think they've worked very hard to create the most incredible brand, and brands are big business, and a lot of work's gone into what they've created, and they should be hugely admired what David and Victoria have created. So,
is this damaging the brand, though, Jonathan?
I don't think it's really damaging the greater sense of things. I mean, yes, today it's not nice to see a family at war. If anything, I think they'll get a lot of sympathy. People won't necessarily... Everyone will have opinions, but I think overall, most people will look at a family and just feel sad for the family, because none of us... You know, some of us have got children older than others, and I know from my own family, you have ups and downs in your relationship with your children, but you get time heals, you spend a few days apart, and you come back together.
Yeah, it's...
Not always the case. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes some falling outs can be a bit more permanent than he's making out there.
So interesting how they are a brand, but they are just a family too, like all of us sitting here, and you go through, as you said, Jonathan, ups and downs.
The majority of families don't air all of these emotional moments so publicly as well, though.
Yeah. Okay, so by the way, I just want to say we've hit up to 13 viewers or 14 viewers this stream consistently. We're averaging around 7 to 8. Can I say, wow, we're doing good today? Yeah, exactly. Otter M says, bros never experienced family beef. Yeah, exactly. Now, the next clip we've got here is from DJ Fat Tony. And he says he has the inside scoop. He knows what happened at Brooklyn Beckham's wedding. So we're going to check this clip out, and hopefully we're going to have some more light shed on what actually went down. And if he was there as a witness, hopefully he actually knows and has a truthful scoop inside, rather than speculation from various magazine sources.
One person who was actually at the wedding is our next guest, DJ Fat Tony. Hello,
welcome,
Tony. Tony.
Hi, guys. Tony, we talked a lot about this over the last day or so, and you know, I personally feel a little uncomfortable doing this.
Thank you, Doug Bringer, for mentioning. Please like the stream, guys. If you subscribe, it will pop up with a notification on the screen saying your username, saying you subscribed. I do also have a donation link now. I'll put it in the chat later on. I'm not really that bothered about it, to be honest. I don't do this. I just do this for fun. But yeah, I've got everything technical set up now, so the stream should be a lot more high quality in no many ways. Did your grandpa know the Spice Girls? No, my grandfather. For those who don't know, he worked in a recording studio in London and worked with various artists. I don't believe he worked with the Spice Girls.
Exciting, because a family's business is private, even when it's public, it's still private. Agree, yeah. And
Otter M, thank you for. By the way, let's have a shot for Mischief. I can see Mischief in the chat. Let's go, Mischief. And Otter M says, "Let's go, DJ Fatty." Hell yeah.
This is a mother and father who are estranged from their baby boy. So, why did you want to come on and talk about it today?
You know, I've just been away on honeymoon and in Miami, and it literally was overtaken by the whole Beckham saga and Beckham Gate, because, you know, yes, I was the DJ at the wedding. Is
that the official name? Is it Beckham Gate? Beckham Gate? I don't know. That feels a bit weak.
It wasn't a one-day wedding. It was a 3-day wedding. I did the welcome party, then I did the wedding, and then I did a brunch on the Sunday, which was the most awkward part of it all, because everything that had gone on the actual wedding night was discussed amongst all the guests the next morning. But the reason I'm on here is because literally, you can't comment, you can't... And I've been inundated. Last night, I've had about 250 messages, 1,000, not 50. I wish it was 250. Messages on Instagram alone of people going, spill the tea, spill the tea, spill the tea. You know, that's why I'm here, is to talk about the word inappropriate. What we deem inappropriate. Right, you're talking to probably one of the most inappropriate people in the world. If you've ever followed me on Instagram, you'll understand that. But...
What did he mean by... What do you mean by that? What, you're posting your OnlyFans content on there or something? What does that mean?
But this is the thing, because everyone has got their own ideas and everyone's got an opinion, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you've seen the memes. The fact that Victoria's now become a meme is actually probably quite distressing, because, like, no one really knows exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No one actually knows. But you was actually there.
Yeah.
I mean, was she dutty whining on the dance floor? What was she doing?
There was no... I'm not allowed to say slut dropping, but I'm going to say it. There was no slut dropping. There was no black...
I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm going to say it immediately. Why bother even mentioning it in the first place then? Jeez, Louise.
PVC catsuit. There was no Spice Girl action. What it was the word inappropriate. Why I said it was inappropriate as well was because at the time it was the timing. So what happened was, this is what happened, guys, right? So basically, Mark Anthony was performing on stage. He then called Brooklyn onto stage. Brooklyn went onto the stage where the next minute everyone was expecting it to be Nicola to go up and do the first dance. And then Mark Anthony asks the most beautifulest woman in the room to come to the stage. And then he says, Victoria, come to the stage. So Victoria's by the stage, she goes onto the stage. And of course, at that point, Brooklyn's like suddenly literally devastated because he thought he was going to do his first dance with his wife. Then Nicola leaves the room crying her eyes out. Brooklyn's stuck there.
Oh, that's not a good look. That is not a good look at all. That is not a good look, I have to say. That is not a good look. But again, there's been conflicting sources on whether or not it was the first dance. But he's the witness. He says it's the first dance. I guess we've got to take him at his word.
Stage, and then they do this dance, and Mark Anthony's like, go put your hands on your mother's hips, and it was a Latin, it's a Latin thing, and the whole situation was really awkward for everyone in the room. And I've done an awful lot of Beckham parties in the past, and they're a very dancey, close-knit family. They love to dance, right? So, what we deem as inappropriate is not how Brooklyn feels. Yes, this is all about how Brooklyn feels. If he felt it was inappropriate and awkward, then it was inappropriate.
It seems like it happened in the spur of the moment.
It really was.
So
Yo, the great Mary Chew in the chat. Let's have a shot for the Mary Chew. The Mary Chew says, incest is wincest. Can't say I can condone that statement. And I think I have to remove that statement from the screen. I don't think I want to keep that message on the screen for too long. But, it does have that kind of vibe, I guess. It does have that kind of vibe. Yeah, let's make sure that's... Yeah, it's back. Cool. But, yeah, I don't know. Is it... Listen, the DJ or whatever was saying, put your hands on the hips, or Mark Anthony saying, put your hands on your hips and stuff. That is definitely weird. That is definitely weird. Is it as far as to say that, incest? I'm not so sure. That may... I don't know. Also, check out my... Also, you may be wondering, why is my mic sound so much better? It's because I've got this... I brought that DJ mini mic I was talking about in the chat the other day. I've also got that camera coming as well, which would be good.
Like, it's so difficult to deem what is inappropriate at a wedding.
And I think what's sad is that this is the bit that everyone has taken from this statement. They've kind of whitewashed everything else that went on. It's taken a lot for someone to go to social media to post it. When your life's lived out on social media, right, firstly. It's a safe space in the sense of, OK, you can control the narrative. He wanted to change the narrative. For the last 4 years, he's been Nepo Baby. For all of his life, he's been called Nepo Baby. Oh, he should be great.
I can see how it can be very difficult to live in your father's shadow. Tell me about it. But at the same time, though, he is a fucking Nepo Baby. I know it's difficult to hear it, brother, but the only reason anyone gives a shit who you are is because you're David Beckham's son. I'm sorry. I know that hurts to hear, but it's one of those things you've got to make your peace with in life.
Grateful that he's got the family name. You can't... That's what he was born into. I think what we're all missing here is the fact that parents have lost their son, and the son's lost his parents and the rest of his family. It's...
But would you not have counselled him to step back there and not say it and just go and live a life and not be... Because all this is doing is blowing the whole
Yeah,
thing
but you know, the thing is, everything's drip-fed, right? We live in a world where people make their own presumptions about everything.
But there's nothing you can do about it.
No, you can't. And you know, the reason why I've decided to come on this morning, because it's a safe space. I've been inundated with, you're a liar, you're this, you're that, and I haven't even commented. My poor husband...
Oscar M says, check out his photography book. Can you link me the photography book? And please don't send me any more AI stuff. I know you think, haha, old man Jack falling for that stuff. Boomer, lamau, but come on.
Was in an argument.
He made a comment, didn't he?
He made a brief comment saying, you weren't there, I was, it's true. On about
Mischief says, I'll be there Sunday if they want a new one. Listen, hey, listen. If I get some of that Beckham money, holy shit, I think I'd be on board for that as well.
The inappropriate dance, which then led on to, you know, literally, but the amount of, it's ridiculous.
But can we just look at this from another point of view, in the sense of, really, why is Victoria getting blamed when it was Mark Anthony who put her in that situation?
I have to agree. Because from what I've heard, it was Mark Anthony had plans for when he said, and come up, nice, beautiful woman in the room. I heard it was Mark Anthony that plans that, when he said that, to be referencing, you know, Victoria Beckham. So I agree. I think there should be more heat on Mark Anthony here.
Was egging it on as he went through the dance. Yeah. Ultimately, it's her baby. Of course, she don't want to embarrass everybody in front of 500 guests. It's actually quite a difficult position to be in. So I know I can understand where Brooklyn's coming from, and we believe everything that Brooklyn's saying. But why didn't he take that 8-page statement and send it to his parents?
He's done. I don't know, chat. What are we saying? Are we team Beckham, or are we team Posh? I think I said Victoria Beckham. I didn't say Posh, but I thought, you know what I meant. Whoever his mum is, I get them confused. I don't know. Whose team are we on, chat? Whose team are we on?
All that.
He sent that
listen, he's spoken to them. This is, you know, it got to the point for him where he can't take this anymore and wanted to step back from it. And that was his way of doing closure. You know, if the statement started with, I do not want to reconcile with my parents. And you know, that's his decision, and how he deals with it.
That's a dagger to your heart, man. I mean,
come on. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Devastated.
Right? If, you know, I could only talk.
The great Mary Chu says, I'm on team. These people need real problems. Yeah, I agree. I agree. These people do need real problems. It is very much, not even first world problems, it's billionaire problems. But at the same time, 100 millionaire. I agree with you there, but I don't know. Mark Anthony, is it not Mark Anthony? You know, the singer. Mischief says, "What the fuck is Mark Anthony? Anthony and Cleopatra, Mark Anthony." No, the singer.
Dad, right? But you know,
the great Sadame is in the chat. Oh my God, it's a roarous occasion tonight. Everyone's in the chat, so let's have a shot for Sadame. Sadame, the TLDR is that at Brooklyn Beckham's wedding, when the first dance was being called by the Mark Anthony, the singer, the singer says, and can the most beautiful woman in the room come to the stage to dance with Brooklyn or whatever. And Brooklyn's expecting it to be his wife for the first dance, you know, but the person that came on the stage was his mum. And apparently, allegedly, his own mum then, in the dance, after his wife's gone off crying, his mum then groped him at his wedding. That is what's being alleged. Nobody knows for sure. It's a bit he said, she said. He said, she said. Whoa.